Interesting moments. It's Marriage Monday. Today we begin our 30-day love challenge. And you're probably looking for the rest of me, the better part of me. So what's interesting is we had a whole plan. So today we decided to start Marriage Monday. And while we were starting Marriage Monday, at the same time, I discovered that my trip that was originally scheduled for tomorrow was actually scheduled for today. So we, of course, did not want to cancel Marriage Monday. So we were like, no problem. We'll just go on FaceTime Live and we'll use the feature on FaceTime that allows you to be able to come on and to be able to see each other so both of us will be on the screen. Well, little did we know that they got rid of that feature. So we were like, all right, bet. We're going to do Google Hangout, Zoom. We had a whole bunch of plans. Computer froze. Google Hangout wouldn't work. Everything wouldn't work. But we decided not to give up. So I just told my wife to FaceTime me. And so she's here. So you can hear her and you can talk to me. And this is what marriage is about, the way our life is set up right now. This is so funny, but it's so honest, because what we were going to discuss tonight has to do with how you master your marriage, especially when you have busy times. And so, babe, go ahead and greet the people so you can, so they can make sure they can hear you good.
Hey everybody, can you hear me? I hope that you can hear me. We have been planning this and wanting to do this for such a long time, and of course, things just try to steer you away, but we are pressing on and we are here tonight, and we want you to be intentional with us. Like we said, we'll be very transparent, but if you can't hear or you need something repeated, please let us know. I know on my, looking on my phone, there's a delay a little bit. So just keep that in mind when you're asking questions and when we are responding, that we're all at some point at some kind of delay.
Right. So here we go. This is first of all, let's just say it's the 30-day love challenge. And so we are actually helping people connect to our love challenge and our book. And so we got a bunch of people in the 30-day love challenge, and they're connecting. It's about 200 people in there. If you want to be a part of that. 250. Oh my God, I've been traveling all day. 200.
I think so. It's either 250 or 230.
That's incredible.
It's pretty dope.
So 230 people have been in there. And so we encourage you to get in there, be a part of that conversation, dialogue that's taking place and going on. And so it's 30 days of living love. 30 days of living love, because what the world needs now is love.
Is more love.
That's right. More love. So we refuse to be denied today. And so one of the things we were going to discuss anyway in our Marriage Monday was how to master your marriage, especially when you are in busy times. So our life is in transition right now, and we're having a blast. But our life is in transition right now. For those of you that don't know, we're transitioning, moving to Chicago. We're a new life. Revolution is converting to New Life Revolution in Grand Rapids. My wife primarily, along with our team, is holding down the fort there. I'm there on Tuesday. She's there on Sundays. I'm in Chicago. So Thursday through Sunday, boom, we are in Chicago, and then Sunday night till Thursday morning, I'm in Grand Rapids, and my wife is holding down the fort. So with that being said, there's a lot of give. There's a lot of things that has to be in your marriage for your marriage to be able to take on this kind of weight and this type of transition. Right. So my wife talked about, and babe, you could talk about it a little bit. My wife talked about how how last year, every time we moved or traveled or went to preach, we were together. We spent so much time together. Little did we know what this year was going to bring. And so while we were spending time together, together, it was really fortifying the foundation of our marriage so that it will be able to withstand this type of transition. You want to talk about that, babe?
Yeah, I think it was like probably maybe like 2 weeks in or whatever, and we were just doing our regular checkups with each other with all of the transition that's happening, but also in our home with our children, that whole transition. And I said to him, I at the moment I didn't understand it, and so because I wanted to be home with the kids, but now I understand why. I understand for such a long run of time, right, that I could, I feel very, what's the word? I feel very confident in what I have to do with him being here, because I was with him for such a long time consecutively. So it's like I can kind of make a decision that I know he would make, because I was with him and we had conversations, and I would see how he would move, and I would see I would hear his concerns, and I would hear his heart. So that continual consecutive time of being together, and then not just being together, but having conversations. What if, what, how do you feel about this now? Like, where do you want to go now? Where do you see your life now? How are you feeling today? Like, having those intentional conversations that you, in your head, you'll be like, oh, I already know this, that's not changing, but it does, because your marriage is alive. It should be alive. It should be moving. It should be a little bit kind of transforming. Months together consecutively, evolved together. It wasn't something, we weren't evolving.
Yeah, so it's
separately. We were like, I don't like that right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's important. It's important that when you get married, that your marriage is in a constant state of evolution. You never want to be involved in a relationship that you can't grow into, that the two of you can't grow together. And it's very important that you grow together, because if you don't grow together with intention, you'll grow apart. And it's not time and space that necessarily makes you grow apart. Time and space, actually, absence can make the heart grow fonder, and space actually can create a greater level of intimacy. Oh yes, when you get back together. Oh yes, it can. Hallelujah. But in that same process, you have to be sensitive to understand that what makes you grow apart is not time and space. What makes you grow apart is intention. So having intention and being intentional in your marriage relationship is where you get to grow together. So when we're talking about today, mastering your marriage, right? It is your marriage. You are responsible for mastering it. And even circumstances like this, when things don't work out, when timing doesn't work out, how do you innovate on the fly and not be frustrated? How do you still connect? You have to be intentional. So the first thing in mastering your marriage we want you is to be intentional. Be intentional. Go ahead, babe. I can't tap you on the leg, so you have to jump in.
Being intentional to me is everything. That it's not by happenstance. You don't just poof, you're in a good marriage. It is something that you have to work at. It's something that you have to have a conversation about. It's something that when you don't want to do it, you still want to do it. You still have intentional with your partner, to be intentional with dates, to be intentional with the growth of your relationship, to be intentional about raising your children, just being intentional, period. Because sometimes we want to check out because we feel like it's too hard. And sometimes we want to check out because we get emotional. But really, to be honest with you, when you connect with somebody, for my people who are unmarried, when you are connecting with someone, it's work. It is not just tiptoeing through the tulips. It's work. But anything that's worth anything, we know is work.
That's right. So mastering your marriage, you have to be intentional. That means every moment that you're together is with intentionality, right? If you're being quiet, it's with intentionality. If it's conversation, it's with intentionality, because moments fade and they pass and then it's gone. And then once the moment is gone and it's over, then you can't get it back. So all of that intentional time becomes seeds where it really fortifies your marriage for later days. All right. So make sure that you are intentional. I always say that is quality time over quantity. where you cannot have quantity time. You do not have time. You're in school. The kids are in school. Your life is busy. Your job changed. Things are shifting, right? And so when you are in that busy season, it is quality time over quantity time. So you put quality over quantity so that with intentionality lays a bed or a foundation for your marriage to be healthy. And then every seed that you plant gives it an opportunity for sustainability and for growth. So number one, be intentional. Be intentional. Number two, in mastering your marriage is be interested. Be interested. Be interested. Now, this can be a challenge to be interested because everything, okay, so we always say the more things you are for your spouse, the less things other people will need to be for them. The more things that you are for your spouse, the less things other people will need to be. So people get distracted, caught up in extramarital affairs, emotional affairs, because they are not interested or interested in the same things. And so when you are no longer interested in what your spouse is interested in, then other people who are interested become interesting and gets their attention, because everybody wants someone to care about what they care about, even if they don't care about it. And so the more things you are for your spouse, the more things you do together, the more lasting and sustainability you have. So it's important that you are interested, even if you're not that interested, that you learn to be interested. Now, in the level of compatibility, it's important that you try to make sure that your compatibilities, it doesn't mean you have to do everything together, but your main core interests, the things you enjoy them together and do them together, because the more you do them together, the more interested you become.
And I think that the things that you're not interested about is just really because of, like, you just have to read upon some of the things that your spouse or your partner is interested in. And that just helps you to be able to have a healthy conversation. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, yay, I'm going to the orchestra. Yeah, it's not yay, but you can also look at it as an opportunity to kind of show some growth in yourself. And also knowing that I'm not being selfish right now. Like, for real, I'm intentionally doing something. They know, like, the person that's receiving care for it, right, and they look at you a whole nother way, and they're like, you really love me, and that makes them feel really special, because they know that this is not really your cup of tea, but right, you're doing it for them.
Yeah, especially when your love, times you have to be interested when you're not that interested without being fake, right? So it's like, I don't want you to be placating me and be patronizing and be acting like you're interested when you're really not interested. I want you to be interested. So it's like when I'm not really interested, but I know I need to be interested. Honey, what do you say that you should do when you're not really interested, but you
interested in is dancing? I could care less about a party and about dancing. Those who know my husband knows he's a dancer and he loves to dance. I could care less. But what do? I do my one little two-step, little clap on the thigh, and I just do it for about 2 or 3 songs, and he know that's about all he gonna get. But I push myself to go. I push myself to be intentional and to dance with him, because that's something that he likes to do, and I don't want him to feel like he can't be himself, because that's just not something that I do. And I can move.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I said I can move, but I can't move either.
And then I just pull her close. I pull her close to let her know that even though she don't move that much, I'll move. I can move enough for all of us, because one time we was on a cruise, and while we was on a cruise, and I was asking her to dance, and she didn't want to dance with me. I said, babe, I really want to dance. We on a cruise. She don't want to dance with me. So we were doing what was it? A tango, a Latin dance or something? Something.
It was a Latin, it was a dance class.
Yeah, dance class. So then the Latin lady came over to me, and she started dancing with me, and I started getting it in, and everybody started watching and all that. She was looking on the side like, and then she wanted to cut in and come dance with me. I was like, oh, now you want to dance with me because you see the other lady dance with me. Girl, you better be interested in what I'm putting down right here. You understand? So that's how she learned to be interested. It's the truth, honey. That's what happens. So be interested, right? Even when we're not interested. All right. So next one. What's the next one, babe? Be innovative. Like right now,
Now,
right?
this one is this cool. It really is cool because you in a different way,
Right.
and it's almost like you're dating again. It's
Oh,
almost
yeah.
like you're. Yeah, it's almost like you're like finding each other again.
Oh, yeah.
But to be innovative.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, let's not do the same thing all the time.
Let's not.
Or let's
switch it up.
let's not have it that way.
Let's try something different.
Let's
Yes.
try something new.
Hi.
And you should be intentional about being innovative.
Hey.
And sometimes just because something does not work does not mean that you give up on it. It
That's
just
right.
means you need to be innovative.
Yeah,
like
or you
tonight,
just-
we was like, yeah, and in that in the process of when things don't work the way that you need it to work, one of you has to be the person that's encouraging, because the other one might get a little frustrated.
That's
and the
right.
other person has to be encouraging, saying, come on, we can do this. We're going to just do it a little bit different.
Yeah.
Come on, get your feelings together. It's going to be all right. And you just have to you got to be innovative, and you got to
Be flexible. Be flexible. Yes. Be flexible.
Flexible in more ways.
Be flexible
than-
and be innovative. Yes, you must be innovative. Things you cannot let it be boring or innovative. And so in being innovative, sometimes if you're not or don't feel that creative, you have to be okay with asking questions. What do you like? What do you need? What do you want? How could this sex life?
Do you not like that?
Yeah, what don't you like? Not just in your sex life. Sex life is an important place to be innovative, but also don't get stuck in the rut. Same restaurants, same places, same routines, same trips, same vacations. Like switch it up.
Yeah, same vacation.
Yeah, switch it
Do
up.
something different.
That's right. And get FaceTime. Make sure that you have some FaceTime and that you texting each other and communicating and letting the other person know that you're thinking about them and you're on their mind. This level of innovation. Don't let technology destroy your marriage. Right. Use technology. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a lot of people that got people destroying their marriage with technology in the DMs and all kind of stuff, doing things and engaging in things that they shouldn't be with other people other than their spouse. But then we got people that are married, they're not even using technology for their own marriage. I mean, slide in your own spouse DM.
He's like, because I be sending you stuff in your DM. Other people be using stuff for their DM about it, and it's like, yes. Like, people sneaking stuff in their DM, and then here your husband is like trying to slip you something in your DM. Somebody else is using DM for the wrong reasons.
I'm trying to use my DM for the right reason. In my DM that didn't come from your DM. You DM, that's funny. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
For those who are unmarried, know that you have to that marriage is one of the most selfish places, in unselfish place in the world. So you have to be involved in what they're involved in. You have to know what's going on at their job. Like, don't just check out and be like, I don't really want to hear what's going on. They're gonna tell me about so and so and so. But you want to be involved. Like, you shouldn't be you shouldn't you shouldn't be in the presence of your spouse, and someone can come in person with your spouse and have a full-fledged conversation, and you know absolutely nothing about their conversation. You're so disinterested.
Yeah.
You don't. I'm so glad to finally meet you. That is a couple who is involved in each other's people that's surrounding them, or the things that are going on. They may not particularly be a part of it right then, but because the conversation and the communication is involving me, even in the things that I may not even come in, you still want me to be a part of that. So you have to be involved in your spouse's life.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every spouse has to be. And if you get married and you have this full life that does not have any space for your spouse in your involvement, you only want space for them in your bed, then it's you make room, that you make space for them to be involved. Invite your spouse into the relationship in some level of involvement. If it's a business, maybe they don't run your business with you, but they participate. If it's your hobbies and your careers, maybe they're not interested in playing, but they can create a support system, or pack your bags, or put your stuff together, or you can do there's always a complementary talent talent or a complementary ability that every couple, every family has and should have. And so it's important to discover the level of involvement that your spouse is supposed to play and participate in your marriage, because it safeguards and protects your marriage. I do life with my wife. I do life with her. I do ministry with her. No, she don't like to preach like I preach. She don't like to teach like I teach, but we find the things that we both enjoy doing so that we do life together. And so I know for the single people that aren't married yet, while you're looking, yes, they need to be attractive. Right. Yes, you need to want them. Yes, you need to desire them, but you also need to understand how they might fit in your life and how they bring complementary skills to your life and bring complementary skills to your life to the level that their involvement is not intrusive, but instead it adds value to the whole, right? So do life together. Find the places and the spaces where you can connect and participate in each other's lives so that when they're not present, you actually miss them. I'm functioning in a space right now where I'm not spending as much time with my wife as I used to, but I keep her involved. I tell her, I debrief with her. I tell her how I feel, what I'm thinking. I tell her what we're doing, what I'm planning, because I do not ever want her to feel like she's out the loop of my life. I don't want her out the loop of my life. So her involvement is paramount to my success. Therefore, I will not ever keep her out of it. She is my helpmate. And so I want to keep her involved in my life so that she's always connected to what I'm doing, and that as I'm growing, I'm not growing away from her. I'm growing with her. I'm growing with her. You want to add something to that, honey?
Yeah, it's just like, and to me, 48 hours and you don't totally know what is going on with your spouse in 48 hours, that's not good. That's just not. And that should be your checkpoint. Be like, you know what? I haven't really had a conversation with them in 48 hours, because then 48 hours turns into a week, turns into 2 weeks, because you just start just going on autopilot in regards to life. And you just look up and you guys are totally disconnected. Okay. And it's just not healthy for a relationship. You have to be intentional. And I know, people who have children, they'll use their children for excuses of us not being able to have connectivity, and it cannot be that. Your marriage, your relationship is the foundation of your family. And if you guys aren't good, your family's not good.
That's right.
Your children can see, your children can feel it. They know when there's a hole. They know when there's love in the air. We would always laugh or whatever, because it was like our kids just knew when it was parent time.
Right.
They just could feel it.
Oh, they didn't have to feel it. We made up a song. Sure, because them jokers would feel it before we made up the song, and they'll try to be blocking. That's what I call them. She called them something. I call them little blockers. Get them little blockers out of here.
They can feel the love between the two of you through the involvement that you have with each other's lives. So it is very, 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 very intentional and very necessary.
That's right.
The best gift you can give to your children is to love your wife, to love your husband. That's right. So that they can see a marriage with involvement and intentionality and with intimacy. Make them feel uncomfortable. We like to make our kids feel uncomfortable because we want them to know that we have we love each other, and we are in each other's lives, and we are involved in each other's lives, to the point that they'll be like, does daddy know that you're doing that? Or does mama know that you do, that kind of stuff? And we'll be like, yes. And it's good, because then they know that, okay, so they know what each other is doing. Even if we don't know what they're doing, they know what each other is doing.
That's
so,
right.
Yes, being involved is very necessary.
So our last one is be intimate. Be intimate, of course, as we were already leaning into that. And intimate has to have intentionality. I mean, it's amazing. We're amazed at how many married couples are not having sex, are not having intimacy, and not just physical sex. We don't understand, right? But we actually do understand, because people aren't intimate because they aren't the other ones that we said. They're not involved. They're not interested. They're not innovative. Right. They're not intentional. And so for some people, it's very difficult to be intimate beyond a chore, right? You don't want to have intimacy just for the sake of doing it and get it over with. You actually want to enjoy it. And when you don't have the other pieces in place, intimacy becomes hard, because intimacy means into me you see. Into me you see. And so if you don't see into me, you don't care about what I care about, what matters doesn't matter to you, then it's very difficult to create an atmosphere of deep level intimacy. And so we're amazed how many single people are having sex, but yet married people are abstaining from sex. It is the most backwards thing. Single people are on the altar repenting to God for getting it in. You hear me? They is getting it in, breaking their back off, and they is asking God to please have mercy on them with all the consequences that's connected to sexual behavior and activity, while married people are playing games, withholding, abstaining from each other, playing manipulative mind games and controlling games, and are not being intimate in the sexual activity. And if there's no intimacy, it hinders the unity, right? Because one of the tools of intimacy is for unity, and people use it for control, but it's not meant for control. It's meant for intimacy. And so it's really important that we get back to being intentional, if you're married, about being intimate. And if you're not married, that you are intentional about not being intimate, because being intimate with someone you are not in covenant with may feel good for the moment and may feel and give you pleasure, but actually the consequences that's connected to it are so crucial and so consequential, because you are literally naked, bearing your soul as well as your physical body. Do not give anyone your body that you have not trusted with your heart, your soul, and your mind. And God wants it done in the proper order. You know what I mean? So be intimate. Do you have something else to say, honey?
I think that for women, a lot of times, intimacy is very, very necessary for lovemaking. It's very necessary because, I don't know, some women, I don't know too many of them, but our bodies don't even respond if we're not totally intimate with you or connected to you. So you can't try to have sex with your wife if you haven't talked to her all day, if you haven't, complimented her or you given her love language all day long. You just can't come in, I'm the man, and you gonna that just don't work. And it might work a little bit, but it's not going to continue to work. So intimacy is really seeing into who she.
Yeah,
that's a long conversation.
Yeah, I mean, babe, I always tell you, and say that again, because I think it broke up, so they make sure they hear you. You said what?
That intimacy is not something that it's the foreplay to sex, but it's something that you can't just get it just like that. Like, there has to be a conversation with the woman, or finding out what her love language is and giving her that love language, giving her the intimacy to be able to see her, to know who she is, to pick up on things about her, because you're her Adam, you're it. Like, you're supposed to be her last kiss, if unless she go first or whatever, but you're supposed to be her last kiss. So that intimacy, to be able to see her heart and to hear her heart, sometimes it might take a little while, gentlemen, but it's worth it in the end, because she knows that you know her, and you know the intimate parts of her, and you still think that she's great. You still think that she's wonderful. So that unconditional love really comes from intimacy.
But babe, wouldn't you agree also, two things I want to say before we're done. Wouldn't you agree also that you can't wait till you're ready to have sex to try to create that level of intimacy? I mean, it has to be a seed.
I think I think that's what broke up. That our bodies don't even respond totally to sex until there's an intimacy.
Yeah, but we
don't even respond to you.
But I don't just mean even in that moment or the day. I mean, if you build it up like a seed, if you are constantly involved, complimenting her, engaging in foreplay, speaking her love language, and laying that as a foundation and a seed, as we talked about on our YouTube page, men want sex, women want intimacy. That if you deal with it properly on an ongoing basis, because men are usually always ready. That whenever you're ready, that's right. So whenever you're ready, she'll also be ready and won't have to get ready because you did not try to get her ready because you wanted something. You kept her ready. You know, there's a difference between getting her ready and keeping her ready. You understand? When she's ready and you always keep her ready, then she always ready whenever you ready. You ready? That's the ready, all right? The second thing that I want to say to that is that it's a misnomer that although guys are also almost ready, it's a misnomer that guys can only want sex without intimacy. It's not true. I know that we can have sex without intimacy because our sexual member is external instead of internal. But I will challenge to say that yes, though we can have physical sex without intimacy, we cannot have real intimacy if there's not some internal connection that's always there. And so guys may be a little tougher to read, but or how you get him ready or how you are feeding him or enhancing his intimacy is a little different because it's about respect for him that creates a deeper level of intimacy or passion, because a man can have sex with you, but that doesn't mean he was intimate with you. But it does not mean he does not desire intimacy. So I think that is both.
And I think for women, they sometimes don't really know that a man is being intimate with them until later on, you know, and like you always preach about with Samson, you know, he could safely trust in her. And so when a man shares his heart with you,
that's intimacy.
That's intimacy.
That's right.
And I'm not excusing this or, you know, making this okay, but he can go have sex with somebody and not really have a conversation with that person.
Right.
But the person that he is telling his secrets to and the person that he's, you know, I'm afraid of this, or I'm fearful of this, or I really like this, I'm really excited about this. He is sharing his heart. And when a man shares his heart with you, ladies, you've got to protect that and you've got to cherish that. And whatever he gives to you in secret, you can't use it against him in an argument, because then now he's like, oh, so yeah, that's the last thing I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And then how you respond to what he tells you lets him know how much he can tell you.
That's right.
And what he's going to tell you.
That's right.
So if you really want your man to be intimate with you in regards to conversation, then you need to make sure that you are a sweet well, that you are a sweet vat, that you are a receptacle that is sweet, and that if it ever comes back up again, it's not bitter, it's in sweetness.
Yeah.
And you have to know when he is sharing his heart. I remember one lady said to me, she was talking to her husband and she was telling him something, or, you know, sharing with him what she thought about something, and he did it. And she was like, I was like, oh my God, he was really listening to me. And I think sometimes we as women think that our man is not listening to us because he's not responding in the way that we feel that he should respond, or maybe he's not saying anything. But then later on, you see it in his actions, and he's listening to you more than what you think. So you should probably be real careful what you say to him, because you don't know what part of what your conversation is that he's going to take a hold of.
Yeah, and I think also you have to be cautious on the flip side that if a man is having sex with you but he's not sharing with you, then he's not being intimate with you. He's actually just being physical with you. So if he's having sex with you but not sharing with you, then he's just having sex. He's not being intimate. And so you have to wonder why and what if and how to manage and to rescue that. Well, our time is up. Next
Are we
week,
taking questions?
yes, we will try to take questions if you can read them, honey. I can't see them. I just want to say a couple of things before we take questions. Next week, we will be together, so it will not be this. But man, Thank you for over 130 of you locking in with us and joining through an innovative way and through technology. Please, if this was meaningful to you, share with everybody when we get off. And don't just share it, but put a comment and say what you think and why you think they should watch it. We play that everybody joins the 30-day love challenge. We're going to get in that group after this and have a little bit of a conversation with them about the love challenge and what's going on there. So please jump in the love challenge. And then if you're in the Chicagoland area or not, because Chicago's not too far, join us for Create a Marriage One Day, the third Saturday in February. Create a Marriage One Day. You can go to jermoneglenn.com /create a marriage and get all the details and lock in, because it's going to be a great time. Married couples and also for people that are engaged. All right. So we got a few minutes so we can take some questions. Where you at, babe? You got to read the questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so somebody conference, he just said that on his page.
JermoneGlenn.com / my YouTube and social media. All that's coming by tomorrow, okay? JermoneGlenn.com / create a marriage. How do you get into the challenge? Just go to 30daylovechallenge.me. 30daylovechallenge.me. All the information is there. That's how you get into the challenge. 30daylovechallenge.me. Viewing, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions? All right, let's get a recap if there's no questions for the people that came in. So today's lesson was about mastering your marriage. And we said you have to be intentional, you have to be interested, you have to be involved, you have to be innovative, and you have to be intimate. Be intentional, be interested, involved, innovative, and intimate. That's how you master your marriage. That's how you master your marriage. It's your marriage. You're responsible for mastering it. So master your marriage and don't let it. I hope you learned something. I hope you got something. Nobody has questions, or y'all just don't want to ask them on there?
I think you just need to just wait a couple of seconds, because I can see there's a big delay.
All right, cool.
On some stuff, because I'm talking, I'm looking at it, and I'm talking, and I know I've stopped talking. So,
all right.
But if you, I would definitely tell you that if you are thinking about marriage, you want to find a couple that you believe has a good marriage there, and it's not, there's no perfect marriages. There are people who are trying to be the best that they can be, and I would tell you to follow that couple so that you can just see what marriage is. And you may not be able to see everything, but just to see what marriage is. My parents were married, and they got divorced, so my only relationship to watch was my grandparents, and I knew that I needed to watch a relationship. Okay, so they said, can we post questions in the challenge group?
Yep.
Yeah, you can post there. I'm not married, but this was something awesome. So I'm just trying to read some of the things. But I would just say find a couple that you care about and that you feel led to, and I would say pray about it and just watch them. And the best gift to give yourself, unmarried people, is to love yourself and to live your life to the fullest.
That's right.
Live your life to the fullest. Don't wait to get married to do certain things for yourself, because you might marry a person who don't want to travel. They don't want to go nowhere. And then now you waited all this time and they don't want to go nowhere, but you love them. So you need to live your life, because you never know where you're going to be and what you're going to do. And nobody wants a half of a person. They want a whole person. So everything that you're supposed to be, you need to be it, and you need to do it. Do it now. All right, I'm looking at questions. I don't
No questions. Any. All right, guys. We glad we had this time with you. Please, everybody, share and join the 30-day love challenge. What the world needs now is love. Thank you for connecting with us. We'll see you next Monday for Marriage Monday. We'll be together. And thank you for rocking with us through technology. It was a lot of fun. Woo, we had to be creative. When I miss her, though, this is what I do. I FaceTime her. I don't just talk to her. I want to see her. And so I used it tonight so we can connect with you guys. Love you. All right. God bless you. Good night. It's good, right?